Well, hello folks, here we are with this week's Waratah-Wynyard Mayor's message. Welcome along, and our special guest here today is Senior Constable Ian Edwards. Welcome along, Ian.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, for accepting the invitation to come along. And look, some of the main things we'd like to talk about today is your involvement with the Cam Somerset Neighbourhood Watch. And that program is celebrating its 20th anniversary. And I believe you've been involved for somewhere around about 14 years.
Yeah, that's right. I took over as a police liaison officer for that group back in April 2000.
April 2000.
And the watch group started in June 1994.
Really?
It's made up of a group of volunteers in the community at Somerset. They have their own local committee. I went along in 1997. I was invited by an uncle, and he paid the $5 to sign me up. So,
did he? So he got you on board?
Got me on board in 97, and
yeah.
In my policing role, I took over in 2000. So
yeah,
it's been brilliant.
So how long have you been a police officer?
Almost 18 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Gee, and your involvement in this neighbourhood watch must be very satisfying, or you know, you've got a concerns for the community, which is great, and you've got a band of people that have got the same concerns. Isn't that good?
Yeah, exactly. I served my apprenticeship, I suppose, at Wynyard back in '96.
Did you?
When I was on outstations
at
the police academy.
Yes.
And I think I spent about 9.5 years in total in the Waratah-Wynyard subdivision. So.
Did you?
And I've lived in Somerset all that time as well. So it's great to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
And also being a police officer and working with the community.
Yeah.
And people that are supporting the police. So.
Yep. And I must say, you know, the personality you've got to go with the job you've got to do just makes people comfortable. I really believe that.
Yeah,
I recall going down to see the visit of Prince Charles and his lady. What can't I give her first name now?
No.
Camilla Bolt.
Yep.
Yeah, look, I remember going to the Hobart Wharf, and you was a guest down there, an invited guest, and so was the wife and I, and your partner too, yeah. And that was when I first met you.
Yeah.
And I thought, who's this friendly police officer here that, you know, come up and said to me, and it was a little bit lost on me at that stage, your background.
Yep.
But now I realise, you know, through having a yard here down there, I felt as if I'd known you for years, but you were an Australia Day Local Hero Award recipient.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was blown away in 2011. There's so many other people out there in the community that are
yes.
a lot more deserving, and I got invited down. I didn't know much about it at the time. I just went down to Hobart and was invited to the Australia Day Awards ceremony, and I thought it was just a certificate, a handshake, and away you go. And then at the end of it, they said, "Tasmanian Local Hero, you're off to Canberra," which I thought, what's this? So yeah, they paid for me to go to Canberra and be a national finalist.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that was
incredible.
Yeah, it made you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so far as the neighbourhood watch and crime in our municipal area that you under your area there, how's things going?
I think it's going fairly well. We've got a lot of information exchange. People can pass information on anonymously, or I've had people knock on my door or ring me personally, or send emails.
Yes.
We also have a Facebook page that people can report things or inbox messages, and we can pass that on to the police that are on duty at the time, or I can follow up at a later stage. So yeah, I think the
good contact.
Yeah, good contact, and I think we have a very low crime rate.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been brilliant.
It's sort of having the presence and those that think they might do the wrong thing, knowing the presence of such an organisation and the scope you cover, it's a deterrent in itself, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
Saw an article on, I think it was Australian Story a couple of years ago, and they had one of Australia's most hardened criminals being interviewed.
Yes.
And he was incarcerated in prison, and he said out there, basically never committed crime in a neighbourhood watch area. Mm-hmm. He only got caught from a little old lady peeking out a window at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was his undoing. So, so not that we're curtain twitchers.
No, but it led to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the results.
Yep, people have been alert.
Yeah. Look, I'd just like to mention another couple of things, Ian, that I understand. You're involved in the Officer Next Door program. You live in an area where well, we won't say subject to things happening, but you live in an area by your choice for the police force to be present in that community.
Yeah, it's a police presence. It's a housing and police and housing choices that have just come on board as a partnership, where police officers select to move into a housing estate area. So we've got them all around the state.
Yep.
And it's a really good program that creates better mutual respect within the neighbourhood and
Yes.
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it'd lead to, as you say, the respect. You'd get it both ways. You'd get the respect of those people wishing to see the right thing done, and the respect from those that think they might do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, great thing, you know,
Yep.
the presence of an officer in uniform or coming and going to and from work, you know, and things like that must be a great thing for an area that sometimes struggles.
Mm.
Yeah. And the Community Kids Program, tell me about that.
That's up in Shorewell.
Yes.
We just celebrated 6 years recently.
6 years.
Yeah, that's every Wednesday we go up there and it's a lot of service providers and people from council, Burnie City Council will come up and the local community house, City Mission, we'll have a barbecue, kick the football with the kids,
Really?
ride bikes around, do a bit of bike education, and just positive engagement with the neighbourhood and the locals up there. We average anywhere between 50 to 80 people every Wednesday.
Really?
And then if we have a jumping castle and a party, it was up to 200 people.
Really?
School holidays, we'll hire a bus or something and go down to Stanley, or we've been to Sheffield, been to Alston and hired bikes a few times at the beach hut.
Oh, yes.
So it's been brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, well look, we've touched on a lot of things, and I'm sure we could talk for ages on the subject, but I'd like to have you return sometime and in uniform. You know, I feel pretty proud of sitting beside you now, but to see you in uniform and see what you represent the Tasmanian Police Force another time down the track. But look, and I can assure you that our community really appreciate your involvement in the community, you know, and you're an asset, a huge asset, and I'd like to thank you for that, and I'd like to thank you for coming on board today, and wish you all the best in the future, and look forward to having another session with you a little further down the track.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
It's great to live in a great community, and
It is.
I think Northwest is probably always the best part in Australia
Yes.
and in the world. So
Yeah.
it's an honour just to be here.
We're lucky.
So very lucky.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Aidan.
Thank you.